Hello everyone out there, how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to get started with meal planning in 6 simple steps. And this video is for you if you are new to the world of meal planning. If you're a bit of a beginner, we're going to go over the basics. Meal planning is something that I've been doing a lot more lately, and it just helps to create so much more ease in the kitchen and around cooking. And meal planning is basically just planning your meals for the week and grocery shopping based on the ingredients that you need for those meals. In a lot of cases, meal planning can help you to save money, can help you to save time, less stress around cooking. So let's dive in. If you are new here, my name is Megan. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist, and I am so happy to have you here. If you're not new, then hello again, and let's get started. Step number 1 is to make a master list of all of your favorite recipes, the ones that you love, the ones that your family loves, that you know how to cook. You can either do this on a piece of paper or like a notebook. That's usually how I do this. I have a little notebook that I use. You can do this on your computer, on your phone, whatever works for you. This is going to really help to make the meal planning process, which we'll get to in a moment, a lot easier because you can refer to that master list, and you can always add to this list. In fact, it's something that I encourage you to do, is to add to this list anytime you try a new recipe that you really like. Write that down as one of the meals that you really enjoy and that you would definitely make again and again, so that when you are doing your meal planning, it's not the same thing every single week. And if you need some inspiration for maybe learning some new recipes, then there's tons of different books and blogs that are great. I'll leave some of my favorites linked below. It's also really helpful here to really loosely write down some of your favorite breakfasts, some snack ideas, maybe even some lunch ideas, just so that you will have the ingredients for those throughout the week. Now, I am very loose about this. You just need some general ideas here, especially when it comes to lunch. You can often use leftovers for your lunches, even sometimes with breakfast. But just having a general little idea of some of your favorite snacks and breakfast recipes can be great to have kind of that ongoing list of. Step number 2 is to choose the day of the week that you will be doing your grocery shopping on. So for most of us, I think this tends to be on the weekends, on a Saturday or a Sunday. But if there's another day of the week that just works really well for you, then kind of make that your grocery shopping day of the week. And that way you kind of have that routine and it's consistent for you each week. You really just want to do your grocery shopping on a day when you're not rushed, when you have the time to head out and kind of do your shopping. Step number 3 is to take a look at your calendar and just see if you have anything upcoming in the week ahead. Are there any particular activities, anything that you have planned, just so that you know for when you are doing your meal planning, because sometimes things come up and we don't necessarily need to be cooking every single night of the week, which is something that I want to mention here too, that you don't necessarily have to be like, oh, I have to cook 7 days a week, this is what my meal planning life is going to look like. It might definitely, obviously cooking homemade as much as possible is one of the best things that we can do for our health, but you also want to have some wiggle room. Sometimes you might have a day or two of the week where it doesn't really work with your schedule that you are cooking from home that night. For example, Sean and I like to have either Friday or Saturday, sometimes once, even twice a week, where we like to order in, or we will, check out one of our local restaurants. It's something that we really enjoy doing, actually. So just take a look at your schedule, see what's coming up for the week ahead so that you can kind of meal plan around that. Step number 4 is to write out your meals. So this is the actual meal planning part here, where you are actually planning out the meals that you're going to eat for the week. I usually do this on a Saturday morning when I'm drinking my morning tea. Sean and I will sit down and we will brainstorm. You're going to want to pull out that master list of your favorite recipes and refer to it. And this is the fun part. You can kind of think, oh, what are some things that I want to cook this week? And write them down, maybe just 5 meals for that week. Again, this will depend a little bit on what your calendar is looking like and your lifestyle. But what I will say here is it can be really helpful to write down one one extra meal, just so that you have some extra ingredients on hand for if you want to switch things up in the week. That's totally fine too. So some examples might be a veggie stir fry, maybe salmon with some veggies and a potato salad, a bean soup, or some kind of stew. Try and include, I would say, at least 1 to 2 meals that can make some really great leftovers. So a type of meal that tends to make quite a lot can be really useful for using as leftovers for lunch, or taking with you the next day, or even eating again for dinner on a different day. Definitely a good thing to do, makes life a lot easier as well. And remember that these meals don't necessarily have to be set on specific days. You can if you want. If you want to be really structured and regimented, you can have specific meals for specific days, like Monday to Friday, or on the weekends as well, but you don't have to. You can, what I usually do is I just write down like numbers 1 to 7 or numbers 1 to 5, and I just write down the meal ideas, and then I just kind of keep it rough like that. Step number 5 is to write out your grocery list. So this is the list that you will be writing based on those meals that you have written down, and what are the ingredients that you need for them. It might sound tedious or like it would take a long time, but it really doesn't. It doesn't take long at all. Like I said, this is what I do on a Saturday morning, and I just keep referring back to, what does this recipe need? What does this recipe need? Make sure though that as you go along, you check your fridge and pantry for what you may already have on hand. Something that's really helpful here is to organize your grocery list based on the different sections of the grocery store, so that when you are at the grocery store, you're better able to navigate the store instead of going from the produce section to one of the inner aisles, and then the eggs, and then back to the produce section, because you've written out just one long list of the ingredients that you need. You can also write down what you need from like specific stores if you need to go to a couple different stores. And step number 6 is to get started with your meals that you have planned out for the week. So what you want to do here is to keep your meal plan that you have written out for the week, all of those meals that you are planning on cooking, keep it handy. Post it on your fridge, or keep it on a shelf somewhere in your kitchen, or just where it's easily visible, so that you can refer to it throughout the week, so that you know what you are making for each night, because you're not necessarily going to memorize what you are making for every meal that week. So just have that list kind of there with you through the week also, so that you can switch things up if you want to. Another thing that you can do here is that when you come home from the grocery store, you're all stocked up. If you want, you could take 30 to 60 minutes to prep a couple of those items, depending on what it is that you have purchased. You don't have to do this, it's definitely optional. Sometimes I like to do this with bunches of kale or melon, where I will just prep the kale, kind of remove the tough stems, chop it up, put it in a container so that it's ready to go for the week. So there's certain foods where this can be kind of helpful to do. You don't have to, but it can come in handy so that you're even more prepared for the week ahead. And that is it. By the time that your designated grocery shopping day approaches again, you should be low on groceries, and the cycle kind of restarts. Meal planning helps so much with just cooking throughout the week in general, and like I mentioned, saving time. You don't have to head to the store to pick up bits and bobs as you go. It's just everything's there ready for you. Helps to reduce waste as well. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found this video helpful and you took a few pointers, and you can hopefully follow through the steps that I listed in this video. But I would love to hear from you if you do meal planning. I would love to hear from you. How do you do it? What's kind of your method? If you have any other tips to share, I would love to hear from you. Leave them in the comment section below, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.